Well, no text from the wall this time. Welcome to Just Cause Still 3 Part 2. Last time we did the start of the whole prologue stuff where we do a thing that's set a couple of months into the future as to the point in time we get put to. And we have this whole dungeon place to go through. This is Einhel Keep. Specifically, oh no, I am pressing all the wrong buttons, it's down on the D-pad. The depth's just over there, and we've got a load of enemies between here and there. For the record, Ween is level 7 versus New Class 7 being level 3. So, I don't know if Altina's just holding back or something, or she is not that strong. Despite being a boss fight that could actually do quite a bit of damage to you back in Cold Steel 2. In fact, multiple boss fights. Oh, yeah, Ween orders everyone to stop. I should probably be reading the dialogue now because we've finally gotten to the point where they're not fighting the lines. Damn you, NIS. The monster! Right from the start. Can't believe we seriously released monsters down here. Well, this is meta after all. Instructor Ween, what are your orders? First off, I want to see each of your battle skills. Everyone prepare for battle. I am reading these lines out. I'm not going to try and do voices, but that's because I'm probably quite shite at it. Wait, are you really going to make her fight too? Referring to Altina. I have no issue with combat, as evidenced by Cold Steel 2. Don't worry, I'll back you guys up. We're going in now. Stay focused, everyone. Got it. I'll show you just what I'm capable of. So, great news. Everyone's collected within encounter types. Combat begins when you walk into enemies on the field. I see Hideline is something that we have to be cursed with on every daily basis. I'm mucking up my words. We can use the A-button to attack the enemies. This is part of the course. However, they've done something here. Where's the triple advantage? That's right, there is no more triple advantage, at least not in this form. Now it's just double advantage. You get a bonus. Plus everyone gains some CP. Advantage. Allies take the turns earlier than they normally would. Standard. No bonuses. Enemy advantage. They attack first. Your party order and formation are changed and all combat links are severed. Basically, don't get caught from behind by monsters. You will have all your trousers down. And assault attacks are now a thing. Using the right trigger, we can activate an assault attack, which will trigger a battle immediately on here, unlike everything else, and gives you everything that you'd want. It is also the only way to activate the triple advantage bonus, where you get everything from the double advantage and below, plus 50% break damage to all the enemies in the fight. For the record, there is like no boss fights where you're able to, so obviously doing this and ta-da! And we get tutorializations about the third order. We've already gone through this with Cold Steel 1 and 2, but at the end of the day, so I can sum this up myself, but there are definitely attack bonuses that which I'll read through. HP heal, and the EP heal, and the CP ups. These are from the previous games, and ultimately just means you get resources back, yippee. BP up, 1, 3, and 5. Brave points can be increased this way, yippee. And it makes sense that it's a resource that is now easier to get in the form of an attack bonus because of Brave Orders. We'll get into that later. Critical is the same as before, same with 7th up, but Guard Break is new. Guarantees the enemy guard will get broken, and if taken by an enemy, they will be able to inflict feint, regardless of attack. But it can be resisted, so if you have something that will resist feint, then good news, you don't have to worry too much. Zero Arts is the same as before, and Zero Order is a Brave Order can be issued without any BP consumption. So if there's a high costing one, and there are a few that you really want to use, less likely on that really want to use, some of them are a bit weak for how much you have to use them for, then hey, you know, a Zero Order is quite nice. And of course the Zero Order means any orders, not just the order that the character has, because otherwise that would be unfortunate, but would be a fair and balanced way of doing things, I would have argued. So anyway, this battle we actually do have no choice but to use the A button to do our attacks, as it wants to give us a tutorial of the field of range that we have no longer, since, well, yeah, with Ween we can actually fight both these dual whippers with our A buttonness. The dual whipper though, weak to earth and resistant to fire, and man, that's a lot of status efficiencies These things are your basic enemies that you can easily beat up. Now we get a craft tutorial. Nice that it's all consolidated into one fight so far. Instead of COD Steel 1, hey, let's have 5 different fights to explain 5 different things. You also get access to the item menu finally, so if you have any items, then you can use them, like the battle scope. Use the lighting the battle scope, you'll be able to get notes while you don't have any way of getting the combat notes sorted out sooner, aka you haven't got an Altina high enough level to get detector yet. So now we can see them more fully. So, although I didn't read it, we now know that they're a horned rat monster. Stores mana in the gem on its tail and casts arts when threatened. Oh, it's getting threatened by us poor, by us being assholes. Now with Yuna, we actually should explain. We can just go up into its face and bat them round with the gun breakers, or we can do gunner and shoot. She still actually gets up closer due to the fact that her thing is not long range, so while there are people who do use long range shooting in COD Steel 3, Yuna's not entirely long range, so just keep that in mind with gunner.
Behold the Vander style.
I think there may be a tutorial later on about that, because it does mean that Yuna has 2 different types of attacks for the purposes of unbalancing. Enemy monsters eliminated. Phew, not bad for our first battle. This is nowhere near your first battle, Wayne. But he's obviously referring to as a team. No one's hurt, right? Unharmed. We're fine, but... Oh, Tina, right? You're not bad. You are correct. Yeah, simple enough. And she does her battle end animation if you use her to do stuff. To desummon Clever Solaris. Can't keep up. I still find it hard to believe that such a thing as combat shells exist. This is COD Steel 3. Combat shells have been existing for a long while by now. Fuck's sake. And it seems like she's very skilled at controlling it. That much is true. But it's also true that she's younger than the 2 of you. You both seem experienced in combat, so I'd appreciate it if you could support her. Good on Ween to make sure everyone cares about each other. I plan to do that from the start, anyway. It doesn't seem like the monsters will be too much of a challenge, so we shouldn't have any problems. I'm sure Crossbell's cutting-edge weapons will show their worth. Eventually. You have a difficult year ahead of you. That we do. Don't talk like it doesn't involve you. Come on everyone, let's keep moving. The Battle tab is now unlocked in our notebook, and we'll automatically record any information we happen to actually have of the enemies. In order to actually get all of the enemies' information, you either need to do what it says on the screen right now and do numerous attacks, so basically just fight them repeatedly, or the alternative is using battle scopes / any crafts that give a refill of everything. For the purposes of completion of this game, this means that for the moment you do have to rely on battle scopes / just fighting them continuously. But once you've got access to Detector and Altina, I've been saying this multiple times, you'll be fine. It'll be very simple. Is this an ordnance charging station? No, it's the thing that priests use for baptisms. What do you think it is? That's right. If things get a bit too dangerous, we should get back. We should come back here to rest up. Ordnance charging stations like this are found in particularly dangerous areas. AKA, this one you can just heal, which will give you more health and EP back, but you can't do anything else with it. There is another type of charging station that we'll talk about later. Why am I talking like as if this would be watched before anyone would want to watch COD Steel 1 or 2 playthrough? To be fair, don't watch my COD Steel 1 playthrough if you're looking for me caring about half the story, because I fucked that one up, didn't I? Yeah. An insect monster. Looks like it's got a pretty hard shell. Seems fairly agile too. Damn flying bug types, can't fucking escape them. Enemies with either of those characteristics are best dealt with by using art. That's exactly right, Kurt. Let's try it out. Well, while Kurt's getting stars on the board already, in terms of attacking the enemy, we're not going to get much out of that. Arts! Using the X button, we'll be able to go into the arts menu and fight enemies. And it actually gives us an example of what this means. It means how much percentage you'll deal. Which means if someone has 0 on an elemental
My
efficiency, that means it does 0 damage. Because you're doing 0% of
Charging.
whatever you're doing. Now,
I'm up.
these things are weak primarily to fire, but also weak to water and wind. Altina has higher elements. These are elements that do not have a role at this present moment, but just as a recap, the higher elements are, of course, time, space, and mirage. But, well.
Arcus, activate. Very well.
It's worth pointing out that Yuna has Needle Shoot, a Earth Art, which isn't as good, so
There.
just shooting the enemies with her is a valid thing to do. Besides, thankfully they seem to want to go after Wii more than anything else, so. While a few arts are named the same, the animations are done differently to an extent, which is nice to see, actually.
Is that all?
It just shows that they had to do stuff. If I actually had a question on the wall, it would be something like 14
Treasure
class 7
located.
or something. I don't know. I feel like that's not necessary for this part. Inside this chest, we've found a breath. That means it's a black quartz. It seems to be a quartz. Yep. One of us should set it in their ornament. But, well, obviously, Doy. Here are some examples of quartzes that you can have. Ones that use specific arts, like the Firebolt or Lack Complete ones will give you access to said arts. How convenient. There's also quartz that increase the stats, like HP one, which gives 500 health, or a Fade one, which gives 4% evasion. Why can't it be rounded up to 5? And of course there's quartz that do some additional things, like Heal will recover health while walking around, but it will also give you Tear and Tear, or at least that usually does. I forget if they decided to just fuck things up. Anyway, so yeah, if we go into the quartz menu here, as you can see, Kurt has a Windlock slot as his first slot, meaning Breath R on him actually is perfectly valid and sensible, and I do not blame you if you do that. Besides, Altina actually does start with Silverthorn in her line, so I don't know where she was keeping that hidden, if we're not meant to have had quartz from any other point. Raina makes sense him having quartz, because let's face it, why would you just get rid of all your shit after every game? Obviously, if plot actually gives a good reason, then I think fair enough. But if there's no reason, then blah. Another new enemy. It's a bit tiresome having to deal with them all. Oh, boo-boo. I think it's finally my time to shine. Yay, it's Yuna's time to shine. Whoopee. And her Gunbreakers. Of course, Gunner. The Gunbreakers. We're finally going to see what they can do, I take it. Here's hoping they live up to your boasting earlier. Oh, they will. Just you watch.
All right.
So let's switch over to Yuna and see how useful they are.
There.
It doesn't seem to be doing shit to the enemy.
Chance to
Okay,
attack.
so we at least were able to get double fire, and now we actually get the tutorial on how Yuna's thing works, using the right trigger to change the mode during battle. We did this earlier. Striker mode means striking and has an increased attack, defense, and movement compared to the gunner mode, which has pierce for the weapon type and specializes in being ranged. Basically, it means that Yuna can function well against singular enemies and group of energies. The Honkai Star Rail fans out there will call this destruction. I call this Ho-Yo, stop stealing shit from trails, you fools. But this does mean that we can shoot multiple enemies, like this. And now we get the tutorial about how break works. Dealing damage to enemies will also damage its break gauge. How cool is this? We actually can get items out of this. Their tons should get delayed and status buffs should be removed. I will say that some bosses will completely ignore these rules, but we'll get to them when we get to them. Of course, while they're broken, all attacks will unbalance no matter what, and the defense is reduced and they cannot act for the turn that they get unbroken. Certain crafts do inflict more break damage, so we'll be able to do stuff there. And also elemental weaknesses will also increase the amount of break damage. So if an enemy is, say, weak to Firebolt, which this one's not, but it's weak to, say, to Needle Shoot because of the 180 ML efficiency to Earth, it means that if Yuna used Needle Shoot, it will do more on the break bar, which is quite useful.
Crimson Slash! My turn.
But to be fair, break does not matter if we just murder the enemy.
Now. There.
Like, we didn't break it. Ah, a miss has occurred.
Let's go.
No, it doesn't tell us about how counters work. Doesn't matter actually, because at the end of the day, counters
Very
just
well.
means, hey, we dodge, we move. And occasionally that means
All
attack
right.
back, depending on who you are and where you are in terms of
Yeah.
able to hit. Because countering is dependent on range, so if someone's doing a range attack and you
Well,
dodge,
look
you're
at
not
that.
necessarily going to hit unless you're someone that has good range. Which, you know, it means that your evasion tanks should still be ones that have range. Anyway, haha! Well, how's that? Their suppressive fire capabilities are impressive. But the trade-off is that the gun function lacks the same power the batons have. I suppose it's all about how you use them. They're very versatile weapons. I agree with Ween here, that they are able to do more than you'd think. Agreed. Honestly, they're more impressive than I imagined. Thank you, Kurt, on that agreement there. Ha! So you admit it. I was speaking strictly about the weapons. Their wielder is an entire... Their wielder is a separate matter entirely. Tell me, does one of your fancy sword moves involve pulling your head out of your ass? Now, you two. Well, Ween, have fun. About Yuna's mode change. It doesn't get the same attack and defense boosts, but the range and area of normal attacks will increase as well as counter-attack range. Generally speaking, striker, single enemies, gunner, swarms. You can also change the mode from the equipped screen, so if you know that you're heading into a battle there there's going to be more than one enemy, or just one enemy, make sure Yuna's in the correct mode to start things off.
Yeah. Locked and loaded.
Very well.
Anyway,
I
let's
shall
switch
go.
back to
It's my
Ween.
turn.
I found some treasure.
More treasure! A firebolter! This we put on someone not Ween. I don't know why I went up again. Because although we could, it wouldn't actually give him the art. Because he already has it thanks to Bridget. But it would give him 6 strength and 4 defense. Why are some of these stats so arbitrarily stupid with their numbers? We'll put it on Eunice so she has a bit more strength. I don't get that. Actually, since we're on route, with arts like Fairlass or Breath, we can use it in the menu to heal ourselves. So if you're nowhere near an organ charging station / out of healing items, then you know you've got options.
Strike! I'm up! Yeah!
It's my turn. Now.
Gunner can also be
my turn.
useful if,
Yes.
say, there's an enemy on really low health and
Nice.
Yuna can't
We did
reach,
it.
but it's her turn, and you just want to end the battle sooner rather than later kind of sense. I've just noticed that. U material in the crate, yay! U materials are generally used to upgrade your ship or to buy it or to trade in for some accessories, which we'll be able to do in a place that may be familiar to some people later. Ah, it's one of these things. There's another big one. Yeah, I think now would be a good time to try combat links. Yeah, why haven't we been using combat links beforehand? Anyway, Altino agrees. This will be my first time trying them out. Trying them in combat is the best way to learn. First off, let's get things set up. You can now use combat links. Hooray! Combat links, just like in Console 1 and 2, utilize the ability to have additional attacks occur, as well as a rush attack, which is just more beating up the enemy, and burst, where everyone performs an all-out attack. That is literally what it is. Of course, link abilities do have various help as well, from increasing how much damage you can do in a final blow, meaning that, hey, you know, the enemy can die and all that. Counter attack can also be another good one that's used as an example. There will be various ones, but the link settings in the tactics screen will be able to be utilized. And we can form the combat links in battle as well, but the game wants us to do them here. So we can go with Reen here and see that finishing blow is what occurs at level 1 regardless. Yay! Also, before anyone says anything about me linking Reen to Altina, have no fear! They fixed that dumb thing. Where the bonding events just added to Link experience, and Link experience was the benchmarks for the final bonding events. In COD Steel 3 onwards, I don't know about anything beyond COD Steel 4 though, so don't tell me anything. Thankfully, they changed it so that now Link experience is not the requirement. That is what we call a thank you change. Thank you, Falcom change, because they realised that they really need to do that. We now get a tutorial about unbalancing, just because we've now got combat links enabled, and about Rush. Brave points are required. We actually do have our full set of 5 Brave points. The game at the moment only wants us to be able to do Rush though, so... Well, anyways, there's also some of those bugs things from earlier, so utilise your knowledge from earlier. So yeah, here's the Rush animations. Therefore, we didn't do them in the first part in the Juno bit.
My turn.
We broke the enemies because of course we fucking did.
Strike. There.
It's mine! I shall go. There.
But utilising a broken enemy with a lot of health is great as a way to get more Brave points going.
Here I go! Yeah!
Obviously, I'm doing this stupidly. I should be
It's my turn.
actually using arts here, but no, damn it. But that's on me because, yeah, I could have just done that. Oh, at this point it's better for this attack. Oh.
All right! Yeah!
Well, I screw up repeatedly because apparently I'm going to need to get hit corpses as quickly as possible so that Wing doesn't miss. But, you know. Ultimately, combat links are a really good thing and should be utilised at all times. Not bad. You guys got it to work. So that was a combat link. It felt like I was completely in sync with everyone else. I detected no issues with linking between our current members. Oh, thank goodness, we don't have to do any story arcs of, oh, I have an issue with you, I have an issue with you. They can't combat link at all for an entire chapter. Thank goodness. So, thankfully, that's the thing. Anyway, yeah, combat linking will be very important for our upcoming battles. Try to use it as often as possible so you get used to the feeling. It's nice to see gameplay stuff actually implemented into the story where it's like, yeah, oh yeah, no, these are actual things people are able to do. And it's just like, oh, okay, good. That's all for the basics of battle. Yay! Any questions so far? None from me, Ghost Card. Me neither, goes Yuna. So, no questions then. But I can't believe a battle element this advanced has already been used in real combat. You seem to know a lot about what's going on. Are you involved with it somehow? Directing that towards Altina. Now you mention it, she does seem to know her way around it. No, it's only because I have experience with the previous model. Which she does. But it would be fair to say this new model is the result of the tests Instructor Wing and his classmates ran 2 years ago. IAC COD Steel 1 and 2. Oh, I had no idea. On top of everything else, you helped make this too? No, not just me. My old class can take credit for that. We weren't the only ones who participated in the operational tests either. For someone called the Ashen Chevalier, you're pretty humble, aren't you? This is Wing we're talking about. I don't really think that has anything to do with it. The Ashen Chevalier. Is this man really the hero of Arabonia? Was there something else you wanted to ask me? Kurt obviously lost in thought there. No, nothing. I understand what the Arcus 2 can do now. Let's continue. Yeah. I'd rather not be wandering around down here any longer than I need to. In that case, let's go. Pardon me. Is something wrong? I never realised it before, but I was thinking how incredible Instructor Sarah was. And what sane plane are you on, Green? What the fuck? She was horrible as a teacher. She seemed pretty irresponsible all over the place, but she managed to lead nearly a dozen of us. I don't really understand. Yeah, I agree with Altina. In any event, I will provide support as usual. If the situation calls for it, please give me orders. Thanks. I appreciate the thought. We must be most of the way through by this point. There's no time to let our guards down. Understood. You can now access the link section of the camp menu. About combat links. They're integral. That's really what that needs to be. Powerful link abilities are nice to have and all that. And of course link level will grow the more you use them in fights together as a combat link. Forming combat links between party members have no disadvantages. They literally do not. And of course link attacks can only occur when the enemy is unbalanced, so you just got to keep that in mind. Different types of monsters will be unbalanced easier by the various characters that we have. And of course criticals will always unbalance an enemy regardless of the damage dealt. So keep that in mind. So
You've just crossed the halfway point. Best of luck on the second half.
Yes. Thank you.
the luck from Tito
What
is
kind of
going to be
campus would build a facility like this on
what
site?
powers us. Let's go, film. Well, Kurt questions what the government might be up to, seeing as they're the ones behind building the campus and
Begin
therefore
combat.
Einhel keep.
Get back!
All right.
I think it's unfair against these enemies because
Very well.
Ween starts off stronger than the enemies, to
It's
be
down.
fair.
It's mine.
But it's meant to be a case of Ween strong, everyone
Yeah,
else.
we
on the
did
weak
it.
side.
Indeed. Good work.
See, they can get along. They're not meant to entirely just yet, but you know. Yuna needs to get over her whole damn Erebonians thing, so you know. There's a bit of a split path. Head down south first, well, yeah,
Treasure
south,
located.
and we get a proxy puppet. Might as well equip it on someone. Let's say put on Kurt. We're just doing that just for the fuck of it. Presents KO. Revives with 50% HP. So that means Kurt will go down once and then will come back with half health. Use it on,
I'll
put it
show
on
no
people
mercy.
if you think you're going into a situation where you're going to need it.
Get back!
Is my preferred way.
It's down! Let's go, Altina!
Understood. There.
I'm already using Rush a lot more than I was beforehand, but this is mainly because I actually think
It's
Rush
mine.
is really good as just a way to deal more break.
Very well. Yeah!
Yeah, crit
There.
means we auto
It's mine.
unbalance. We get
Now.
damage done. Our team's a bit of a distance
Arcus
away, so
activate.
it's on blow, and then if... Oh, a miss, and Kurt's close enough, meaning his counter-attack will do more damage, and he gets
Is that all?
Ready. Tons of ability powers now, okay.
Sit! Sit!
All the various crates and the things we can do with them. It's a big one of those squishy things. Pardon me. That thing's huge! Way bigger than anything else we fought here. Considering our current fighting strength, it may prove a difficult battle. I sure didn't expect them to let something like that loose down here. Should we back off and search for another route? No, we need to face it head on. Head on? Are you crazy? Not at all. There are 4 of us and we can use combat links. As long as we've got the basics down, we'll definitely be able to defeat it. For real? Very well, I'm ready. Understood. Assuming combat stance. Goes the monster. Get ready, everyone! Let's go!
Everyone ready?
Ah! There's more enemies than just the one!
Let's go! Get back! Now! Let's go,
We don't have
Altina!
access to burst. I might as well
Understood.
utilize rush.
Yeah. It's my turn. Yeah. Wide open. Kurt.
Leave it to me!
Yeah. Now. Brionac, activate. Fire. Now.
An opening!
I'll finish it.
My turn. Strike! There!
It's mine.
I'll end it.
These enemies have the ability of Vibrate, which is just an AoE of very close range.
Here I go.
Card is slowly dying.
Take this.
Let's go. Crimson Slash. Let's go.
Now. There.
Huh. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm up. Ah! It's down.
And Dortina gets the assist. Ooh.
Was my support helpful?
Yeah, thanks as always.
And they all level up to level 4. Oh, and HP 2.
Yeah, I did it.
I must train even more.
On level ups, they do get various stats increased.
Stats
For the most
updated.
part, the ones that you'll see mainly get updated to higher values will be your health, strength, defense, arts attack, and arts defense. And Dortina at level 4 gets Detector, which allows us to analyze enemies. This is great news. This means that it's really easy to get your hands on versus, say, spending 10 levels to get it and all that. Enemy monster has ceased movement, but has not despawned. Just saying. Phew! That was pretty tough. In the end, it wasn't as strong as I expected. Oh well. These two are idiots and should remember that monsters in trails usually disappear. Behind you! Ah! Shoot. Well, Kurt and Yuno are going to die. Clem Solaris! Ah! This feels like this scene should be voiced, but it's not.
Now, bring it on!
And we get a crit as well. We can now use the S-Craft 7// Fallen Leaves. S-Crafts! They're powerful combat techniques. If you haven't played Trails game before, then this is a nice time to learn them, as these do have various uses in battle, like dealing a shit ton amount of damage, or even being supportive in some cases, hitting your entire team up, or giving them like a magic reflect. That's good enough. Some S-Crafts obviously may have been discarded by the wayside since Cold Steel 2, but that's besides the point. Obviously with the white bumper, we're able to just see what we've got at any time.
I'm up.
We can also, in the Y menu, select it. So, 7/1 Leaves is power of triple S and a break of D, no unbalancing allowed. An area of LL, speed down, large for 5 turns. However, this enemy is going to go down to a singular 7/, or at least it should. Especially since we've got a crit as well. Like,
My
come on,
blade,
game.
calm as still water. Now! 7/, Fallen Leaves!
Murder of the enemy
Alright,
to that
nice work.
aside. We get another HP 2! Yay, we're getting a lot of HP 2s. Oh no. What was that? Phew. How are you? Who are your favourite Trails characters? Well, to be fair, there are some characters that are yet to be gotten at this point that I will not spoil for anyone on YouTube who will happen to be watching this in the future if I actually upload this. But, having gone through Crossbell at points has led to definitely an enjoyment of the SLS as a whole. That's for sure. I've now decided to answer someone in chat instead of speaking the dialogue. My brain's fried again. Ooh. It's a good thing that Dortina is here to prevent people from dying. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a lesson to be learned about letting your guard go down. Wayne's obviously a good character. I just think that Falcon will just make some mistakes with how they choose to write their protagonists on occasion. It's just how it is, though. think I had this question asked before when I was doing a test stream like over a year ago. Do I still have it recorded? Because that might give an answer. I don't actually remember on that front. Your instructor. Reen, I think Reen's deciding to go for the approach of Sarah at this point, which is rather dumb in my opinion, but well. But Reen's approach means saying that they can transfer to another class. Yes, that's a great idea. Hey, earlier, I don't want Class 7 to exist. But favourite Sky characters are Richard and Weissman. I miss Skyfluence. I agree, actually. I do agree on that. Favourite Cosmic characters are Randy and Red Constellation. The only Jaegers I like. They don't downplay how awful Jaegers are. Yeah, I do think that they definitely screwed that up in some cases when it comes to Jaegers. They are mercenaries. They'll do a lot of fucked up things because just how the underworld works. Favourite Cosmic characters are Reen, Emma, Crow, and Altina. Ironically, Cold Steel is my least favourite saga. I don't blame thinking that Cold Steel is definitely not the best in terms of what is capable from the series. But you can't ignore that it definitely has done better in terms of sales. Once again, Reen saves Yuna, at least that's the implications at this point, I would argue. Honestly, Crow is a good character. I definitely just... there's something I just don't get with Crow. But maybe that's just me. Reen's interactions to Emma, Crow, and Altina. Gee, I wonder which bonding events this person in the chat has done. Okay, I'm not trying to make fun of you. But, that's my assumption is there. I mean, yeah. Personally, I do like Reen's interactions with Laura quite a bit in Cold Steel 1, where it's clear that both of them have different opinions of how their training has gone in terms of the schools of swords they use. Just in general sense. At that point. Because they're both still very much beginners at that point. That might just be me knowing that I have in the past. My issue with that dynamic is all there is sword and half this cast uses swords. Yeah, that is true. That is an unfortunate truth. Because to be fair, there is a lot of sword users. Even various blade users, just in general. Even if it's not a sword, like Crow's dual saber.
It's mine.
Oh, so Devan just got shafted for her. I mean, at least they've given us Kurt in Cold Steel 3. I mean,
now.
It's the most relevant any fan is going to ever fucking be at this point.
It's my turn. My turn.
And that's if we ignore Sky, because Muller, but...
Is that all?
Which is unfortunate. It's like with Kingdom Hearts. Oh boy, why does everyone need to have a Keyblade? Because that's the main weapon that is used. It's a situation that's similar to, say, in like medieval times, obviously only certain weapons would be used.
Be quick about it.
So everyone having the same weapon would make sense.
Understood. Heading to target
Whereas,
point.
obviously in a video game where it's a fantasy, where there's a level of fantasy going on, it's not necessarily as needed. Everyone could theoretically have a different weapon that is unique. But then we also reach the point of, this is Trails and there's 20 billion characters that have been playable at this point, and pardon me on the burp. So it really does kind of get screwed over. Kind of actually got screwed over as they took away his dynamic with Cedric, which was clearly built on in some events in 3. True. I need to make him just being, oh, I must get the swords of this man who barely got any historical focus. Bugs me how the Fandas were very close to the royal family but are treated like a footnote in their history. That is true, actually. And someone that I've talked to on the regular says that, oh, there's a chance that if Cedric appears at all again, Kurt may appear as well. And it's like, oh, okay, I could see that. But then they start trying to talk about things about Weathery, and then I promptly leave the room because I don't want to hear about Revelry. Yeah, that's not important for starters. Anyway, but yeah, it's weird how the fandoms are very much just like that. Besides Emma, Eustace, and Crow, I thought Eustace and Minimum. I do. Yeah. You said Eustace twice there, actually. Yeah. I do agree that Eustace definitely is not a good character. Miriam is a bundle of joy, as one should expect, but I feel like Miriam actually survives what, and will be seen later on. Obviously, I think Miriam does get saved from getting funneled into the Ween stuff. Eustace is basically the only male character besides Crow who didn't get shafted for the sake of female character. That's because Eustace has more of a dynamic with Miriam, and that allows him to have character.
Wait a second.
Be on alert. I have detected a spike in mana.
Versus everybody else who gets relegated to the bonding offense,
Mana?
or is a female character, and therefore,
You guys need to get out of there
in the
right
case
away.
of in the case of COD Steel 4, if you're a female character that has bonding offense with Reen, outside of a very few examples, you're just, oh my god, Reen, how lovely. For example, Nord was made about Alyssa, and Heimdall was made about the Arcite and Jaeger girl. That is also true, they did do that. I mean, really with Heimdall, there wasn't much you could do, because they already did the whole dynamic of like, oh, Eustace and Marcus, they don't get along, and then they learn to get along to at least an acceptable extent. But yeah, Nord was basically just suddenly Alyssa's. And even then with Greyheart, they teased multiple times
Magic Knight.
the mystery as to who Emma is by her doing magic, but doing
Professor
it in
Schmidt,
ways to
are you
disguise
responsible
it.
for this?
I happen to acquire a few of these
But it's
antique machines
done
when
as
they
a
appeared
side
during the
thing,
Civil
as
War.
so that the plot still moves forward.
Though
While
its
in
output is
Greyheart,
lamentably inferior to Panzer Soldat's, its ability to act autonomously
my attention
is
to the chat
useful.
aside, oh dear, it
This
appears
will be your
Schmidt
final
has
challenge
Magic
in this
Knight.
trial.
That's not good, and I
Is he serious?
will forever have PTSD over the Magic Knights in COD Steel 2
What is wrong
from my
with
very
him?
first
This
playthrough.
is going too far.
They're not capable of taking on a Magic Knight. Heed my call, Valimar!
The use
And
of
the
Divine
first
Knight is
of what will
prohibited for
be
this trial.
many times someone will cockblock
Level
Ween.
0 was not calibrated to account for its intervention. Were you to use it against such an opponent, the data I would receive would be useless.
Of course it would be. It has to
You
be.
do have another option available to you.
Against this?
Or if you'd prefer, you may choose to activate the new function installed in the Arcus tubes.
Please activate Brave Order.
Thank
Olivia,
goodness.
Prince Oliver said that you would be able to use it for sure, Instructor.
Damn you, Matt Mercer. Anyway, thank fuck that there's Brave Orders, because Ween was going to go for a maneuver that they
felicitations
will
on
not
your
reveal
recent
at this point.
graduation, delayed by duty though it was. I also wish to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Reed.
Will there ever be a game I play where I won't be randomly cursing Matt Mercer? Anyway,
These may seem on the paltry side as a gift for such an occasion, but I'd like for each of you to have the newly completed Arcus 2.
yippee!
I've added some fun little
Instead of us actually getting
communication
much of
features
an
to it,
actual
just for you.
cutscene here, we just get a picture of Oliver that was from, like, God Steel 2.
There are a few other new functions that can only be described as brilliant, so do give them a try next time you find yourself in a pinch.
Our antagonists in COD Steel I like are Vita, Crow, Helmut, Talbawea, the Jade Work, and a certain prince. No.
All right.
Yeah,
Will do.
I mean, to be fair, Kyan's a non-threat. If it wasn't for
is
Boris
this?
wanting to align with him, whereas the
I feel
Weir
some kind of
relied on
energy
immense
coming
character
from him.
sharing. Well, yeah, the West, yeah,
A combat
to an
link?
extent, yeah.
No, it's different.
Prepare to engage in combat!
Do you count Duvalie as an antagonist? Is my question to you. Because
Brave Order.
I like her. I like Duvalie.
Class 7 Special
But-
Operations. Put everything you have into
But, you
defeating
know.
the target.
Yeah!
Be on guard. It's strong.
Magic Knights! Why? Anyway, we do get ourselves Brave Orders, finally. Using them requires Brave points, and ultimately, yes. In 2 and 3 she does. My main issue is in the second game they made her into a punching bag. Okay, well, to be fair, it is sure she's in like 2 scenes and as a whole, so really it's just a random knight we have to fight. So I guess it's more of a case of
Raging fire formation.
how they go about it in terms of character direction, really.
Get back. It's down.
With Raging Fire, we have plus 20% damage dealt, meaning we are now dealing more damage. Striker is probably the better option due to everything going on.
Let's go. Strike. There.
Oh, I could have rushed. Ah well.
Now.
Can I break? I might be able to. But I'm going to Iron Will just in case.
Iron Will formation.
Especially hate Zephyrs. They don't do anything and don't have personality to talk of outside their kid. Outside of their yeah, outside of anything to do with Fee, they really have nothing going on for them.
There.
Oh, of fucking course the... This is what I mean by how the break is useless if the enemy just they restores themselves. It's pointless at that point. I might as well just not bother breaking.
It's my turn.
They don't have actual motivation in the Final Fourth games. Yeah. Well, in Cold Steel 2, their motivation as to supposedly one of the reasons why they were siding the way they were was because they happened to just have a contract and most of Zephyr were busy looking for a way to bring back their boss. So it does mean that once that goal's been achieved, there's no other goal, and we don't see anyone else from Zephyr anyway. So it doesn't matter at that point. And oh dear, thank goodness for Iron Will, because we would have died horribly.
It's my turn.
Yeah, I don't even hear until the they just randomly say that right after you've done the fight. They get up, do their power up.
I shall go.
Claire and Sharon do their whole that won't be necessary, and
I'll support. Arjun here.
and then the madness of going back upwards.
My turn.
Along the castle. It's rather dumbfounded that that's how they decide to do some of their information, but
Depleted.
oh dear.
I'm up.
And this in the next games, them working with the main villains makes sense as they even admit it was a poor business decision. Yet to do it because business, they are more like Dimwit hipster cult than an actual outfit. Makes no sense. Right, I am in a situation here. Oh wait, because the Poxy puppet. I want a team.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some of the story beats certainly do suffer quite a bit at times.
This is nothing.
We are going to utilize some of these bombs we've got. Because, believe it or not, Magic Knights at this point in the game, where you have so few options. Like, regardless of what you think of the fights going through the keep,
Now.
we're suffering from
Will formation.
no
I shall go.
advanced ordnance stations. And all gear we have is whatever you start with. I'm going to execute the ability of moving. Let's say the red concentration of agile people skills is to show how they know how to get under people's skin. I argued, actually playing for sure, and I argued they have some level of people skills because they still run forms of business within of Crossbow. Well, specifically with the club they happen to have.
There. Now.
So that means that someone there's got to be able to do negotiations other than I look big and strong, fear me. But
My turn. Strike. Let's go.
oh no, I can't get the quit. I was thinking like, no, I gave it a quit, but then I remember. Oh yeah, I broke it. That news reveals because they want to be successful about being sadist. That is also true.
My turn.
That, yeah, no denying that.
Strike.
I don't know whether or not I have. No, that image is on the console sort of scene. Fuck. I'm gonna have to go and look for the image again.
Now,
God damn it.
Let's continue onward. All right.
Sadly, Yuna
got
was
it.
dead, so she didn't get a level up.
I must
Otherwise, everyone
train
else
even
levels
more.
up. Yay.
Stats updated.
I don't have that image, but oh god, yeah, there is one scene coming up in this game. Oh, that's not until we get to Sutherland, anyway. Damn you, Shirley. Anyway.
Stamina depleted. A short rest is
To the
required.
surprise of no one, all of New Class 7 are exhausted from having to fight a magic knight, Smith, you asshole.
You guys did amazing! The trial's complete! But you took this way too far, Professor.
That was faster than I expected. I'll have to increase the difficulty next time.
Could you please listen to me?
This trial was completely absurd.
Next time? Is he gonna make us go through all that again?
I also think that McBurney and Northern War should have mainly been used to explore Ween's power, yet this got muddled up. And the Northern War should have been the same thing, like have them hate... Like have them hate Ween too. But no, let's not put any focus on that and give it to another character. Damn, sorry for the redundancy. Okay, I don't know about the redundancy there, but... yeah, no,
Probability
Northern
seems
War
high.
At
is...
least that put an end to our orienteering exercise.
The anime's just dumb. I don't know why they did the anime. Unless it was to promote the mobile game. If that was it, then that was a waste of resources.
Thank you. Great job, class.
But, like, Green did face some of the shafting for the sake of female characters. Yeah,
You all handled the first test
yeah,
of Brave
that's
Order
true as
very
on that
well.
one.
I'm proud of you.
I think the bun's not too
There
bad,
are
but-
some areas each of you could improve on, but you just need to tackle them one at a
Yeah,
time.
there's a scene in the Eventide
I'm sure today hasn't instilled you with
where
much faith in
a
the
lot
idea
of the
Class 7.
characters
Your class size and this trial are bound to raise some red flags.
talking to both about Lloyd and Wayne and how oblivious they are, and it's like, when did any romance matter when it came to Lloyd? Or did I just not do shit properly in Crossbell? And as for Ween, yeah, he's damn oblivious, because it's all done in optional offence that you don't have to do. And in some
Then
cases
you
feel
have an
very
instructor who's
forced.
only just graduated. What if he doesn't know what he's doing?
I actually do think that a lot of the romance in Constant 4 is forced. Just straight up forced. There's no need
Like
for
I
it.
said, if you want to
Most of the
transfer to
Essex girls
classes
love Lloyd.
8 or 9, I swear
Yeah,
that I'll make it happen.
yeah, that's true. That's true that they do. I do feel that with Crossbell it's a bit of a waste that they did
Something I want you
do
to decide
the
for yourselves.
optional stuff. In a way. Like Green, obviously, but his character is incredibly depressing.
Think hard about what you believe.
Well,
what
I
you want to
mean,
accomplish. What kind of future you want.
when your
and
fate is
most
basically
importantly,
forced in
who you
the
are.
direction that Reigns was, I would argue that anyone
only
would
you can
get
figure
depressed
out if
over it.
Class 7
I
is
mean,
the right place for you.
let's just say it. Ending sequence of the finale bit of Cold Steel 2, Ween
Take all
does
that
end
to
up
heart,
witnessing the death
and I
of
know
someone who he
you'll have
considered
your
a
answer.
friend in Crow. At the end of the day, that would be rather traumatic for quite a few people, I would argue.
Una Crawford reporting. From today, I will be part of Class 7, Special Operations.
Wayne's approach here is to be like Sarah
Really?
for a moment and be like, oh, don't worry guys, you could definitely transfer if you didn't want to be here.
Don't get the wrong idea, okay? It's not because I want to. I never wanted to come to this school. I'd much rather be back in Crossbell. I don't like Erebonia, and I don't think much of you either.
Yuna is
So it
mean,
seems.
but
But
makes
throughout the
sense.
entire exercise, your guidance was clear and accurate.
It does make sense that Yuna is rather mean to her. Bonia Crossbow was forcefully annexed, and we had to get told about that in 2 separate games at this point, so that's
If you weren't
always
with us,
fun.
we never would have beaten that thing. Honestly, it's infuriating. And I'm annoyed I couldn't show off what I learned at the police academy.
What was Yuna even learning at the police academy?
That's why I'm going to stay in Class 7 until I can prove myself. Until I can show up an annoying hero like you, Ashen Chevalier.
Oh, what? Oh, god damn it, Twitch. Oh, oops, that's autoed. Oops. Wait, okay, what, why is Twitch... allow, I don't know why that was bullying. Allow that. Why is Pervert doing that? What the fuck? It's basically the most nightmarish parts of his
I do not
tropes,
believe you're in a
including
position to say that.
including what you've see, whatever's might be there. He's the pushover who friends constantly downplay his orders as heroic speeches and, oh, we did stuff like this too, so don't listen to Wayne. He's speaking from experience, you dicks. And the fact he's treated like a pervert over nothing, yet they can physically and sexually assault him. My example for what you're saying would be the side quest in Coastal 2, where, oh, monsters have shown up in the hot springs. Oh, but Wayne bursts in there to, you know, beat the monsters up while it was the girls that were in there. It's common anime trope, and I'm not a fan of it.
Well, that's because I'm
It's like,
still
hell,
learning.
in this
Just like you
game, they
guys.
repeat the... That's one of my examples. Exactly! And it's like with this game where they have Kurt conveniently have Yuna land on Kurt's face in that way. It's just to... Not only is it, for the purposes of callback to when it happened to Ween in Coastal 1, but it's just doing the
Welcome
trope
to
again,
Class 7, Kurt.
just now with different characters. And in the case of this game, that does nothing for Kurt or Yuna. Neither of them
Thank you.
should have been in that situation anyway to begin with. For their characters, it was just as a reason to get Yuna to be more angry to Kurt.
How about you, Altina?
There is no need for
this case.
confirmation.
For Ween, again, Coastal 2 did this. It's like Ween just
While the
chooses to
details are
enter the room
classified,
Altina happens to
I
be
intend
sleeping
to
in
follow
while
the
on the Pantagle.
protocols
And it's
of
just
the
like,
mission.
yeah, of course Altina's going to assume that a random stranger in this room that I was sleeping in, that's suspicious. Because that
No,
would be
Altina,
suspicious. If
that's
I
not what I
suddenly woke up and there was someone just randomly in my room, I would be like, what the fuck?
The answer needs to come from you.
It's just rather dumb, in my opinion.
Does she not understand?
I won't accept your
If
participation
I could
unless
travel
you
back
chose
in
this.
time to do things. The problem with that is she also says she knew he wasn't a threat. Yeah, which
I don't care who originally placed you here.
really just
Whether it was the principal, the intelligence division,
because
or
then
even
later
the
on
Imperial
in that
government.
very part of the game, it's the way Altina says, I forget the line entirely, but the way she says it makes Alphen even think, what the fuck does Ween do? As the rest of the girls are as bad as Alyssa in this regard. They think and act the same way. The main difference is the writers don't have them announce it with them new like they do with Blondie. Well, being mean towards Alyssa for the colour of her hair
Why do you
aside,
want to stay? It can be anything.
yeah, that's really how it is. If
And it can't be what I
they
said.
chose to do things differently, then maybe you
Hey,
could argue,
why are
oh
you
hey,
picking on her so
a
much?
romance between Green and one of old Class 7 wouldn't be the worst thing possible. It's just
I still don't get how
They
you guys
do it
know
in the
each
wrong
other,
way
but you can't talk
worst way
like that
possible.
to a little girl who...
they both will ignore context to actively damn him. Yeah,
I can't think of a reason.
because for some, and it is literally just because
all that comes to
that
mind is how I've
writers
supported
decided
you on all
that
of your
shite
operations this
romance
past year.
means that you have to
If
have an
I'm to be at the
oblivious
branch
main
campus,
character that
it is only right that I be in your class.
basically ends up doing everything
it was also
wrong.
Class 7 who once stood in the way of my mission. Even if the students have changed, I find myself somewhat drawn to the name. Does that work?
Honestly, like any anime that's like meant to be a romance one. I don't watch them, so I'm not
works for now.
entirely clear on it. But you
I'm
know,
glad
fair
you're
enough.
staying,
They are
Martina.
doing a shite romance. They're doing a shite romance because that's what they're doing, because it's the genre they're writing in. But when it's like a video game where a lot of the story is actually involving a lot of politics of how the world is being
You sure
ran,
drew that out.
big giant threats to the world,
It's been one
fucking
thing after
Gundam
another.
mechs. Like, at this point, you'd have to think, okay, why are we now adding shite
I now
romance
officially
approach
declare the
to
formation
anything
of Class 7
at this
Special
point?
Operations.
Especially optional stuff. So that
Let's
it's
all work hard
so that
and grow together.
you will always now be damned forever in the future.
Not just as a class.
Regardless of what happens with
as
Reverie. I don't know
comrades.
what they do in Reverie in terms of how to resolve the whole people would have picked many different options with Reen. But let's say Reen returns in a future game. Let's say he returned in I don't know about anything about Kuro. Let's say he returns in Kuro and he's then, hello ladies and gentlemen, I have this person, and everyone will just get really pissed off about it because it will just be automatic. That's not who I picked. No, everyone was
I was
watching.
wondering how
Everyone
things
was
were going
surprised.
down here.
Even then, these incidents aren't that horrible with him or him expressing some semblance of confidence. His hands also don't touch anything inappropriate in these accidents. Yeah.
Foolish.
Yeah, because...
No instructor has the authority to change a student's placement.
If any of them wanted to transfer, I would have allowed it.
Valia is a lot more easygoing about what Reen was
Principal
doing
would
without
win, with
any
all due respect.
knowledge of it.
Everything worked out, so it's fine.
Yeah,
Didn't you hear? They decided for themselves. Classes 8 and 9 had a good start too. Not bad for a trash bin.
While Aurelia keeps calling this place a trash bin,
The coming days will be very
garbage
interesting
isn't the best
indeed.
approach, but
Train our fledglings
regardless.
well while you can.
I do think that I disregard everything to do with every single
That
romance,
is,
potential
you don't want them to be
romantic
swept away by this
thing you can
turbulent
do
era.
with Reen in these games. The moment
Of course.
it's like, oh hey, let's just have a drop down
ma'am.
list and to get a scene where Reen goes, "I love you" to someone. And but then again, it's all
Yeesh.
ones and zeros, so really
This is
it's just
some
down to
school
the
I landed
writing that
myself in.
matters. Unfortunately, the writing's shite, so oh dear. And it's a dumbing ground of a lot of people the Empire doesn't like. That is true. That is, yeah, that's definitely true. First thing Aurelia says, you're here because no one wants you at the main campus.
He's even worse than Gramps.
Coming
here to study is crazy enough.
I think also would have been better if
Sure you
Gold
wanna
Class
work
7
under
was
that
much smaller
old
and had a different
goat?
instructor. Now, I have my complaints about Sarah.
Don't
I'm
be
not going
like
to say,
that.
like,
He's
oh, they
actually
should just
pretty
get rid of her
amazing.
completely. But, I think Cluster 1's definitely evident of the cast bloat situation.
I feel like I'll be able to
Because
make a
you've
lot of
got
friends here.
all the members of old Class 7, and then with Cluster 4
most
you've got new
importantly,
Class 7 as well.
I want to do all I can in place of everyone who
Pardon me.
couldn't come to the Empire.
And you also got all the other people that show
Look
up.
at you, all grown up and doing your own thing.
Up and all that, and it's just like,
Guess I can't call you short stuff anymore, huh?
he is still short, Aga. Like, come on. You could definitely do that.
Oh,
Head patting!
Our
Fanda
old
should have been
enemies are
Fanda should have been
definitely
that
on
teacher.
the
Yeah,
Not just them. The
but which
Imperial government
Fanda?
and a
Because
few
they
of the groups
basically
are up to
wrote
something,
themselves in a
too.
corner in that direction. Because Muller's with Oliver the entire time. Sex is guarding Matthias. Oh, yeah.
Thank the
Yeah, that's
freaking
true.
goddess
Matthias
that
just
dumbass was
kind of
around
just
to help me set up a
doesn't
long-distance
exist
line.
in Cold Steel 1. So yeah, that would have been an approach then.
If anything happens, I'll be here in a flash. Don't
Actually,
hesitate to
thinking
call
that
me,
through,
Tina.
actually,
You got
Matthias
that?
being instructed certainly would have been different.
you bet.
Well, I'm not entirely sold on that idea. It's not the worst.
But only if you promise me you'll be careful, Agate. Don't do anything too crazy.
Ah, how wholesome of Tito and Agate. And I think the less we talk about what characters like to do when it comes to the dynamic of Agate and Tito, I think the better for everyone involved.
I see. For both the main and branch campuses?
Yes, their first day ended without incident. Class 7, Special Operations, Class 8, Combat Tactics, and Class 9, Military Finance, have all been established.
man, oh man. Just when I thought we finally shoved that beast in a cage, Erebonia's #1 sweetheart just had to show up wanting to be an instructor.
Iron Bloods minus Milliam on the screen.
Between them and a certain capable young woman, there's far more talent there than one would ever expect from a trash bin.
Renaming uses Milliam Crow being the ones who'd be used since their elements are the most prevalent, plus there are things I know because of Reverie that I won't spoil for you. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough on that one. Iron Bloods! We don't get them named here, but let's face it, we already know who they are, thank you every single other game prior to this point. Claire, Rufus, and Lecter.
Perhaps there wasn't a need to send him there from Crossbell so soon after all.
A colourful bunch of people. Rufus is obviously referring to
We all
Randy
know
there.
why you really sent him. But whatever, a powerhouse like him will come in handy.
I'm not sure this is appropriate.
Reen, obviously. Emma makes sense.
In any event, the wheels are
kind
now
of
in
not did
motion.
it properly because they were anyway to begin with. Useless, fair enough. Milliam, yeah. Crow needed to be there for how they wrote the story, so yeah. Oh, within Cold still. So yeah.
With Northumbria's annexation, every bush those serpents would dare hide in has been burned to ash. They have no choice left but to
Osborne's
try and
idea
reclaim
that
their
Ouroboros
master's plan.
have lost all of the bushes to hide in. They haven't. There's
As
probably
for the
plenty of
branch
space
campus,
in Calvid or
that
some other country.
pitiful final
to
act of
hide in.
rebellion from a prince who's lost his blade and his wings.
Man, I can't believe they just
We
clipped
shall simply have it
Oliver like that.
and my worthless
And there's more of the
son
mentally ill aspects
dance
of
at the end
Reen
of
to the
our
point to be
strings.
similar to the likes of Dimitri. Yeah, I know Dimitri's from Three Houses. Three Houses, great game and all that. And yeah, that I mean,
Your Excellency.
to be fair, I don't think at any point you really need to have Reen go full on
Laying it on kind of thick, don't you think?
hide in a tower for 5 years and just murder everyone that happens to try going up there. But
By your will,
approach, but
Excellency,
yeah, no,
we
to me,
Ironbloods
yeah,
will see your ambitions are fulfilled.
that's definitely a way they could have done it. Definitely. Because at the end of the day, Reen certainly, so much goes on in his life. To say that he hasn't ended up getting any form of mental illness would be completely wrong. Random scene occurs.
I think the connection's finally gone through.
Yay!
I mean, an incredibly altruistic, but incredibly
Never
unhinged and
dreamed
overprotective
I'd
person.
be able to
I mean,
talk with
yeah,
you all like
I
this.
mean, yeah,
Indeed.
okay, yeah.
His Highness
I
was too
understand what you mean,
kind
then.
to arrange this feature.
We get to hear the
Doesn't look like
voices of
Reen or
Class
Gaius come
7,
through.
and also
Could be
question
too
how
far
some of these
away.
pictures were taken.
Oh,
Well,
or
specifically
maybe
the
somewhere where the signal
two
super
non-Reen's
weak.
family ones.
No matter. I'm sure we'll have more than ample opportunities to speak with them in the coming days.
That's right. And we can finally fulfill our promise.
Goddamn Lorenz, Helen Gloucester there.
Well,
Fucking
you
distant.
sure are fired up.
When did
How
they
could
take
she
that
not
photo?
be?
Because that's
This
from the end of
is
Cold
the
Still. Because
season
that's
for
Cold Still
reunions,
one
after all.
post-credit picture.
Yeah, spring is here once again.
The one with Family right now could have been taken at any point after Cold Still 2. Just straight up, just any point. And now we get ourselves a hey, let's just show a bunch of character stuff. Like if his power first be shown to his party after Gideon, Colophon, Elise. Yeah, fair enough. That would be a moment where it's like, where Reen rightfully should just outright just go berserk on Gideon. Obviously, Scarlet Falcon and Crow would then show up to prevent Gideon from getting murdered at that point, because he needs to die in Crossbow. This opening cinematic shows Reen looking over leaves, and then you get Kurt training, Yuna on a train, Muse here, and she's not part of Class 7 yet, and Ash in leaves, just looking up into the sky, again not an Shelley, character not introduced yet. And of course, I wonder who this Siegfried person is. He'd be scared that Class 7 would hate him for this and try to offer to leave running for Class and say no, and that he shouldn't have to worry about what they feel about. Yeah, because to be fair, they're very accepting of the fact that Reen has some old, has his, ogre form. That is just because they have him first truly show it off inside the schoolhouse, but the only people that really saw him like that were Crow and Patrick. Chapter 5 would have Marius take classes private training place to help him in class and do his path. Wait, hold on. Chapter 1 Chapter 2 Lord, 4's Hydar. 5 would have been... So therefore, that would be replacing Legram. Which... unfortunately, Chapter 5 is also when the whole trade conference occurs, and I think for the purpose... And I think just they... I'm not sure when they decided that to have a role in things, it would still be a factor of the whole, like, that side of it. And on Steam, we get the achievement Spring once again, because this is the Steam, because this is on my Steam profile, not on PlayStation. On PlayStation, I have the Platinum. It's why I don't like Magic Knights still. Like, even on Nightmare, I just want Magic Knights to go die. They don't deserve life, but well. We get to see the timing thing and a nice blue tint to it all as we skip forward several days to the 15th of the 4th. Ooh, they did a good job though on not actually like showing the nun there. Would introduce Kurt as Ellie's Costa and have him be around Cedric. That makes sense. That bit makes sense immediately, just straight up, because why isn't Kurt around in Cold Steel 2? Because he should have been around there, obviously. He would also be the boy saved in the castle. Yeah. Also was sent Class 7, specifically waiting for the fact his father gives him more attention while he's looked down on and ignored by others. Which would therefore give character motivations, and then character development can then occur later on. Obviously, there's a lot more writing that would be done because of Trails, but the ideas, it's very understandable. Yeah, some people are walking a bit later than others, but I guess it's because we need to establish at least someone over here in Kurt training. He also wants to improve his swordplay, not just because of family things, like in Cold Steel 3, in real life, but just but because he wants to be there for Cedric, the only person who really considered him. Speaking of Kurt trying to improve upon his swords, randomly slashing in the training room might not work out the best way. With the power of the PS4, we can have Yuna sorting herself out in front of a mirror.
We said we'd walk to school together, and she just up and leaves while I'm still asleep.
Missy!
Dad, Mom, Ken, and Nana. Wish me luck. I'm gonna give it my all.
A brief flash of something that had to have happened. Spoiler alert, that was when Green had to help out in the whole annexing of Crossbow.
Strike! Not bad. I simply need more experience.
I also have Green be mostly unpopular in school outside of his class and teachers. Mainly the other schoolmates would see him as a creepy doormat or zombie.
Despite all the battles we went through yesterday, he was never short of breath.
I know my mind immediately chose to go the direction of Persona 3, but then the protagonist of Persona 3 was able to get along with most people very quickly, so yeah. I also have him react violently to Patrick shit-talking his family in the first game. Defend one's family name.
8 leaves, 1 blade
as one should.
It's impressive to be sure, but nothing compared to what Father Mueller and Uncle Zex can do.
Is the Fanda stuff stronger than 8 leaves 1? Unfortunately for Kat, the only comparison we can have between the two is, well, who's actually a Divine Blade so far? Well, at this point, Cassius and Arios versus Masters of Vander's stuff, Matthias, Muller, Sax, hopefully Kat in the future.
I suppose the Ashen Chevalier simply relies on the power of his Divine Knight.
Kat's not wrong. The amount of times I would like to just use the Divine Knight in battle. I also have him with Sense Swordplay because he took it to control his power, but all the lessons did was make the monstrous aspect more efficient. I mean, Young Kai-Fei did cut Wing's training.
Good morning.
Because Wing definitely needed to overcome some obstacles before he could actually understand
Good
how
morning,
to
Yuna.
do things properly.
I take it you're headed out as well?
Yeah. Are you all done with your training? It's
Wait,
pretty
aren't
impressive
they
how
meant to
you
be
do
getting
all
to
that
school at
every
this
single
point?
day.
Well, it's something I've been doing from a very young age, so it's just part of my morning routine.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry about before.
Woo! Falcon learn from their mistakes slightly and get to do the whole apologizing thing here instead of a month later.
I know it wasn't your fault, and
But more that he's relentlessly looked for in ways to control for get rid of his power, martial arts, literature, science, etc.
I shouldn't have
especially since it's Zamoria, so
It was
that would
childish
probably
of me.
go down the road of at least taking a quick gander in the direction of
that
Deception charge to an extent.
I'd like to
Obviously,
apologize too.
not successful, but
Have you been wanting to say that
it would,
for the
it would
past
be an
2
approach.
weeks? Considering how much you dislike Erebonians, it's very thoughtful of you.
I don't dislike the people here.
Yuna throughout the entirety of Einhel Keep. Fuck Erebonians, they're the worst.
Yeah, I've got my problems with the country, but this is between people. When I mess up, I make sure I apologize.
Yuna understands that slapping people in the face is
especially
not the right thing to
considering
do,
what I said about your
unless
swords.
anime tropes cut,
I mean,
but,
you
know.
practice every day, and
Right.
they'll be way more useful than a couple of weapons as old as the Great Collapse.
Flashback to last part.
Don't worry about that. Besides, like I said, my training is just part of my morning routine. Out of curiosity, is everyone from Crossbell like you?
Oh god, if everyone was like Yuna from in terms of Crossbell, oh god.
Like me, how?
Oh, I don't mean to offend. Very straightforward and good-hearted. Probably the type to be easily tricked.
Cut's not wrong, actually, considering Ashore. Just the entirety of it.
Wanna run that by me again?
Like I said, I don't mean to offend.
And even parts of Zero, actually. They're like, some
I'm glad to
some
have a
people in
classmate like
Crossbell
you
were
whom I can
way too
trust.
easy to be
Though I don't know if
trusted,
I can
to
trust
be
your
honest.
skills just yet.
You're a real piece of work. Well, let's start over. Glad to be your classmate, Kurt.
Hello, you two. Good morning.
And to Altina.
Altina? I thought you left for school already.
I received a routine status call early this morning. I didn't want to wake you, so I took it in the study room.
Meaning Altina and the Intelligence Division are definitely keeping very much of stuff there. I'd also roll Class 7 not just be picked because of perspective, because they're also the best they have to offer. And I would have the highest grades, meaning we'd have the highest physical evaluation, but her Ironbird connection also helped. Yep, fair enough on that one. Eustace would be the go-to healer, so he'd be an expert of healing, arts, and medicine. So, what if we gave Elliot Eustace's character, just called him Eustace and made him Eustace in every way, except now Eustace's kit was healing? Seriously, he's good as a support unit. That is also true, he is actually good as a support unit anyway.
No.
And Wing would be the second highest rank in both academic and physical evaluations. I mean, I think the highest you can get in Coastal 1 is
routine
7th?
status call?
And that's if you do everything properly and answer all the questions right.
Sorry, that is confidential.
I think the very end of saying I had a
Well, in
routine
any
call
event,
would be
it's nearly time to
confidential,
head
in
to
my opinion,
class.
but well.
We're all in the same class anyway, so why don't we walk together?
I do not mind, but I believe the correct term for my presence.
Oh, Tina, no! Don't ship them!
Judging by what I've seen, your relationship has progressed.
Our relationship? What? No, that's not what's going on.
Curtin Judah is Altina's OTP, and
Certainly
that means
words
I'm
things in a
certainly going to have
distinct
an aneurysm.
way.
But what could have been? Damn you, Cold Steel 4. Rin also wouldn't be outright hated by the schoolmates, just that they are uncomfortable around him because he gives off a depressing aura. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's may have been several years since I was last
I can't get enough of this homey atmosphere.
in any form of education, but you do get those kinds of people that you just look at them and you're just like, something's off about them. I don't want to be near them. People only get truly scared of him after what he did to Patrick. Yeah, that would...
so peaceful and laid back. And it's got some great shots.
That would make sense. Like, oh, did you hear what he did to the High Arms kid? Oof. Wouldn't be me.
Agreed.
Oh,
It's a good
I don't want him to
halfway
beat
point
me up.
between rural and urban.
Like,
We're just the right distance away from Heimdall.
I'm in agreement with Kurt. Being the right distance from Heimdall is a good thing.
The previous owners of this land were a noble family. After they lost ownership of it, the government attempted to convert it into a resort.
You wouldn't believe who
However,
owned this
that
land.
plan fell through. It's said the half-finished buildings from that were used to create the campus.
I swear every other thing has to actually be a
you sure
callback
do
to a
know a
character
lot.
from Sky or Crossbell. Just how it is.
I suppose that explains why the branch campus
Have the
is so
curse
large.
periodically affect his sanity, and it would get worse by this game where he can't pretend to be happy and a lot of the students are scared of him. I mean, at least it would mean that the curse would be a lot more
military academies would be this
apparent before
I get
suddenly
combat training
being
and
much more of a
practical
thing
exams,
come
but
Cold Steel
math,
3
history, isn't this
as
workload
an actual
way
like
beyond what you'd have at a regular high
thing
school?
that's occurring.
Well, here in Erebonia, the pen and the sword are both held in high regard. Especially at
I'm
Thor's.
so glad I didn't have
It's a
to learn how
prestigious
to
traditional
think about
school founded by our most notable emperor.
I had one idea for a guide to tie to Rin's power. Oh boy, there's always got to be something silly that
That
occurs to
legacy
someone who
won't
has
change
power.
simply because this is a branch campus.
However, it seems the main campus has changed significantly this year.
Although there's been changes in the main campus, Kurt's idea here is that, oh, don't worry, the legacy of thing remains the same even if it's different and doesn't have the same history. Ideally, what I am of course referring to is wrestling titles. The fact that I'm plural on that means multiple of them have fucked up.
Ah, yes.
Both in Japan and the US, so...
I don't get what you guys are talking about, but looks like we're gonna have to give it 110%.
Damn, the Erebonia
here.
education system
Let's kick all the other
works
classes'
people to the
butts.
bone.
Well, if you say so.
At least there's no whips.
However, most of our lessons are held with the other two classes anyway.
The perks of these three being, well, a class of 3 people. They get to be in everyone else's classes. It's like that one time when the school I went to back in my younger year, back when I was a literal child and it was primary school.
Homer
Year
was
5
the
and
only
6
one
being
we had without
combined.
them.
He couldn't get his hair and eyes back to normal, so he would try to hide it through excessive black hair dye and lilac contact lenses. When powers activate, the dye instant burns away. As the dye would go away faster and faster, the worse the curse got.
Oh, right. I guess it makes sense given the small number of students, but that means class
Specifically,
7...
he couldn't get back to normal after his first ever transformation. Yeah, that would make some level of sense.
Well,
Say
if it ain't the chosen ones.
Enter Ash.
You're...
I think he's in class 8.
Good morning. Is there something we can help you with?
Nope. Not
Shot
a thing.
by a caviar smart hair dye. I just like to think of the idea then that someone would just open his dorm room and it'd just be full of hair dye. Just be like, why would one person need all this hair dye?
Just wanted to get a little peek at the class taught by the hero
Or
of
even if it's
Erebonia.
just dye in general. That could be used for multiple uses. Why would anyone have that much?
Class 7, huh? I'm sure the view is just great from up on that pedestal of yours.
Ash, you are correct, for I see no gods up here but me. Crow would be allowed to join Class 7 because he was one of the few people who outright saw his power. Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint, but we're being treated
level
the
of sense
same as
there,
any
yeah.
other students.
Yeah, it's not like things are going to be different for us just because our instructor's famous.
Oh yeah? Then why'd they go out of their way to make such a small class?
Because they realized that we don't need 20 different party members for each chapter.
A little kid who's clearly too young to be here. Some rich pretty boy with fancy hair. Oh, and a loud, unruly foreigner from some sob story country.
Oh boy,
Oops.
racism.
My bad. Not a foreigner anymore, huh?
Oh, formerly what would be racism? Would it still be racism if they're in the same country now?
All right, we understand.
Yeah,
You're a tough guy. But that's quite enough. If you have more to say, I'd be happy to talk with you further after school.
Fight.
Not bad. You've got more spine than I gave you credit for. But the one I've got business with is...
I'm so happy to see everyone getting along.
And of course, along comes Muse with her hard emoticons in the dialogue. And people who'd be privy to information outside his classmates and instructor Toa, Angie, and George to the information of his past. Yeah, that makes sense.
She's from class 9, military finance.
But I mean, hey, Angelica would be able to potentially try and help with her knowledge of Taito, so... And also, of course, Toa needs to be involved.
Good morning
if you
to
said
you
to
all.
remove Toa
The
from,
weather's just splendid,
from
isn't it?
this form of offence, I'd be asking you to leave, because
But if
that
you
would
spend
be
too
rather,
much
rather
time out
bad
here
in my
chatting, the bell
eyes.
will ring
Toa
before you
is
know
best.
it.
Anyway,
True.
Muse
You all done messing with us?
exists
Me?
at this
I'm
point.
not here to mess with you. Well then, see you around.
I just don't get, why do they need a character to try and be a female version of that French guy?
I hope you all have a lovely day. I'll see you again for the classes we have together.
Muse's issues are the same as the Louch's issues. Right. Okay.
What's that blonde guy's problem?
You're not wrong.
I can't believe they let some punk like him into a military academy.
He obviously had some issue with those of
As
us in
in,
Class 7.
They are how we show you, don't we? Genius character. Yes, because Muse is supposedly meant to be like,
No,
I'm playing this 5D chess game and I know every move. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing half the time. Or just stays
We better hurry, or
out
we'll be late
of
to homeroom.
actively trying to adjust
You're right.
things
Let's get
physically way too often enough to not play a role to begin with.
Whew. Hard to believe it's been 2 weeks already.
Hang on, but the bell just rang. Ray and Toa, what are you doing? Just
It warms
standing
my
there
heart to
watching
see all
them
the students
talk.
trying their best.
Also, wouldn't Ash and Muse have noticed them being there?
The
well.
classwork here is much more difficult than at the main campus, so I'm sure it's tough on them.
Alright, so what we're going to do with the branch campus is we're going to give them the higher level stuff, while the main campus, because we want to get Cedric through the school system, is we're going to give them the foundation papers. Smart characters are ones like Emma and Tio, where you see them actively use their knowledge and skills to help out. Yeah. You actively see Tio utilize her smarts with computers, and you actively see Emma utilize her knowledge of spells that she's learned while
Then on top
training,
of that, training exercises
while
were
doing
added
her
onto the
whole
curriculum.
training to be a witch
We didn't have
thing.
anything like that at the main campus.
Thing before Cold Steel 1. So, such a should have a character able to predict everything because it causes serious plot problems. Yep, that's true. The moment you have a character that's able to go, wait guys, I can foresee the future, this is what's happening, it just becomes an issue. I mean,
Thor's
not
branch
everything's
campus.
able to resolve everything
I'm
by,
starting to
I
understand what
tribute
the
God,
government's trying to do here.
like Yu-Gi-Oh could, but
Oh, but I don't think that's
the power
the
to
only
be able
reason
to
for
just
this place.
see everything doesn't work, ever.
In keeping with Thor's tradition, we'll also have those days to look forward to.
Why did my mind first think of to new days? I need, my head is in the gutter and I need to get
I'm
out.
sure that'll be a relief for them. I'll tell my
Obviously
students
3
about
days,
them
I
after school, alongside the club announcement.
Got it. Thanks for taking care of that. Well then, Instructor Reen, let's give it our all.
I'd rank the new cast like this: Altina, Ash, Yuna, Kurt, Muse. Respectable, respectable. I'd shift Altina down below Ash, 100%. But and then the rest, I feel like
Toa.
Altina's definitely could remain in second actually, because the others kind of just meshed together to a bit in my head, because you don't need everything the way it was. Yuna is basically a better written version of Alyssa, Marcus, and Gus. I can agree on. Well, to be fair, most characters are better written than Gaius and Marcius, but yeah. First period, maths. Wait, hang on. I actually passed maths unlike English. Hold on.
This is the formula.
What kind of maths is this?
You will need it when calculating trajectory. Make sure you commit it to memory.
I'm not even going to try and figure out what this formula is meant to be, because no. Second period, political economics, aka ain't Arabonia so great, y'all?
This is known as gross domestic product.
GDP.
GDP for short.
I only know what GDP is because I looked it up after when I was a child playing Civilization, thinking, wait, why is it called this?
42% last year compared to 2 years ago.
It's almost like adding Crossbell and all of the money Crossbell makes would increase the overall average of money made. Funny that, ain't it? And of course, field training. This makes sense. They are a military academy
Today's
after all.
task is walking.
And Tita still has her grenade launcher.
Well, let me tell you, it won't be. We'll be marching, so I need to see perfect posture and formation while armed. Even combat tactics got worn out by this.
Later in the field somewhere, I don't know what I've been to. Yeah. She has the Suzende aspect, but they give her proper reasons to have the way she does. She has a prejudice that was handled better, given that Ebony is an autocracy dictatorship. And unlike Nord, Crossbell in practice and on paper are an actual culture. Yep. Yeah, because Crossbell has influences from both Ebony and Calvin, so you get places like East Street, which is just straight up different to what you'd expect. And was an electoral place, because, I mean, Ellie's grandfather was voted in, and say what you want about Croix, he did get voted in. Kurt had promised, but was screwed over.
Said to be the largest turning
He
point in
got
the history
screwed.
of the
I
Empire.
agree wholeheartedly. He got
The
screwed.
end of this war brought us to our modern era. Today, we'll be looking into the events leading up to the
Woo!
war.
Ween's job is
Caused
to
it
go over the
develop
War of the
way it did.
Lions. So anyway, we did a War of the Lions reenactment with the Civil War, but I had to play the role of Drycles. And yeah, Arabonia straight up is an autocracy because it's an empire and it does the whole imperialism thing.
Perspective.
Yeah, and yet the Emperor's not really the one
Oh, I see.
going, I have an idea.
I'm actually learning a lot.
Instead, it's Osborn doing it because he has to be the evildoer, I guess. Ash does not give a shit.
He's so dashing.
Muse is simping for Ween, as most characters that are playable that are female do for some reason. Altina and Ash had good arcs, yeah. To be fair, I think it's another example. I think it's why you hear people talk about how good Crow's dynamic with Ween is, because a lot of those scenes are mandatory scenes. So Altina and Ash get more character and get more of a good arc because of that. A lot of Altina's character development is tied into various events that go on throughout Cold Steel Frame 4. Same with Ash. Whereas Yuna's character kind of gets put on a pause after you've gone to Crossbell, because that kind of just resolves everything that was there outside of, well, obviously Crossbell being Crossbell and not Arabonia. And Kurt's just, his character development just doesn't exist, because how do you do character development of wants to be as strong as Rest of Family when Rest of Family are hilariously really, really strong? Oh, Tina's finally learned what school can be like. It's never fun having multiple years of one lesson a day being like, this is a perfect time to just throw this thing onto a desk. 3 days. These 3 have to get explained what they are. At that, Emma and Eustace's offense serve a purpose as it fleshed out Emma's dynamic with her family, major parts of the story, and Eustace's offense goes into how he feels about what his family does. Yeah. No, pardon me. But you do get some of that with Eustace in the main story stuff. In Cold Steel 2, but that's just because, let's face it, Cold Steel 2 would have been a lot different if Helmut didn't just keep choosing to do stupid shit. And of course there'll be clubs. Ween has to explain how they are mandatory. Aurelia has decided you must be in a club. My favorite was the fact her upbringing felt like a genuine struggle, given she wasn't treated immediately as special. I say upbringing is basically Cinderella, but if the evil stepmother and direct godmother were the same person. Yeah. I do think with Emma that she does benefit. I think she benefits quite well because Vita plays a role, so like they emphasize she is on the lowest social ladder of the family. Yeah, because pecking order definitely goes Roselia, Vita, Emma's mum, wherever the fuck she was, probably was higher up on the ladder. So just how it is, but how well. So the punishment for not joining a club would be forced into a student council. This is a situation where obviously a student council that does jack shit. So any that I was a part of. The reason why Celine knew more than Emma did was because Celine was supposed to teach Emma these things, but she procrastinated and gaslit Emma whenever she called the cat out. Yes, Celine is an asshole. Just straight up. Like, if Celine taught Emma properly, maybe Emma would have actually said something sooner about the shit that was going on in the schoolhouse. Instead of learning more about it, instead of just randomly being like, okay guys, I hope you're ready, I'm now mandatory to your party, even if you haven't been using me at all. Special lessons exist. Woo. AKA there's going to be field exercises, because dubbed as field exercises. Oh no, special lessons are the sold out training. Boy, I'm an idiot. But field exercises do exist, and that'll be the field studies for the
stand, bow
for the game. That'll be explained later, maybe even in a later part. Anyway, moving along over to the instructor's room. Tomorrow is the free day. Woo! And there'll be a briefing at 3 PM. Man, mandatory meetings. Here is a counter there. There is a counter there. 90% of the supernatural events that you have, she explains she just doesn't tell you how she knew them. In her offense, she had to tell Ween that she was looking for Vita and showed Ween her heritage in her final event in the first game. Yeah, I don't remember her final event, to be honest, because I think hers was one of the ones that I sped through when I was just grabbing the trophies. Because the ones I remember most are Laura's, because that was the first one I did. Towa's, because every time I've played through Constant One, I go with Towa. That's how I do things. And of course, the mandatory cutscene with Crow beforehand. but that's because main story. So Major Michael certainly is a man of renowned in terms of just being inline person. Who would have the money to put into Falls in general? I'm thinking of like some kind of royal family. And in the case of the branch campus, then Aurelia's here, so she has money. She can put stuff into it. Yeah, ultimately, Emma's character would be better if they just explained shit instead of just waiting until the start of Cold Steel 2 to have Celine explain everything, because Wayne demands answers, and it's like that was the only way to actually get any actual answers out of anyone. Yeah, that is true on Emma there. My lips are getting dry. What is it with my brain and all that? It also isn't too bad, since unlike Celine, Emma was always immensely helpful. That is also true. Because even from the word go, she was immediately like, Fee is obviously struggling with education stuff, I'm gonna help her. Celine would hide things even when the secret was already out. Yeah. I mean, with the shrines in Conceal 2, after the first shrine, it's like, okay, now we know what there is. As I flashback to a fight we didn't do on the Costa 2 playthrough on YouTube, because... anyway. Celine's just like, I'm not going to reveal anything. Even with the Aqua one, when you've got Emma with her, Celine just refuses to outright say, this place is a location that may or may not have something deeper in, but we shouldn't go in there at the moment. We'll just get battered by a magic knight. And I'd be like, okay, fair enough. Because otherwise she's just all like, oh, I mean, you could go in there, but don't blame me if you die. Like, thanks for the support. Just straight up, just... Emma's struggle is somewhat similar to Ween, that because of how she was never allowed to live selfishly, she struggled to live for herself, her own martyr instincts kicked in. And not to do too much talking about Cold Steel 4, her offense with Ween, outside of the romance, does show that off quite well. And also shows that, yeah, people are very much influenced by Ween's approach of self-sacrifice. Throughout Cold Steel, which you shouldn't also be thinking, I know, I'll just throw my body into the deadly ways of death, because that involves dying. But then again, it is Falcon, so chances of death are quite low. Anyway, the quick travel menu. Yay, we can use the X button to just quickly travel to places. And where there are various locations of key events. Emma at least would ask for consent for anything explicit. Yeah, definitely, 100% on that one. So we have stuff to do all over the school, yay! And of course, as you can see with the character note entries bits, well, we got a whole bunch of characters already in amongst here, including our bond level bit. Of course, in the top bit is for the branch campus, including which is basically new Class 7 and Toa. Especially good when you have someone like you. Yeah. And of course, we've got some other tabs. It wouldn't be that spoilery to say that middle tab is old Class 7, and the bottom tab is a few other support characters that, in the grand scheme of things, don't need to think too hard about, really. So of course we get to see here with the Class 7 members, we've got Reen, who teaches history, Unica and Altina. And the clubs that they are part of will be highlighted after they are in there. Of course we've got our faculty members, Toa, Randolph, Michael, Prince of the Wind, Professor Smith. They've noticed him as well. And of course, Patrick. Yeah. I'm gonna save here because that was a lot of cutscene malarkey. Well, honestly, yeah. I mean, it shows that at the end of the day, Emma is actually a better character than I think of her. Sometimes I don't know why, but I push her to the side quite often. But I think that might just be just because I got used to the way that Elliot worked in battle, and then suddenly there were chapters where, oh no, now I have to learn how other characters and their healing works, or something. I don't know. That's a bad explanation, but yeah, unlike the others, she was never really given them genuine emotional support until Ween. Yeah, I mean, hell, even Ween had Elise and his adoptive family. Emma is basically the best magic DPS. Oh, so that's why I struggled with Cold Steel 4 on Nightmare a couple of years ago now. Because my brain must have thought, oh, arts are useless. Why would I think that most bosses are not weak to magic? It's like McBurn, maybe Campanella. Not many other fights really are that bad for arts, but yeah, okay, yeah, so yeah, magic DPS, fair enough. Then again, my teams probably would be normally Ween, Laura, Usus, then some combination of Elliot or Fee, or because evasion tanks are fun. She has the highest magic stat build with her arts damage boost and cast cut. She will hit hard nearly every other time. Okay, so yeah, optimally, yeah, she's the best. Okay, filling conversation. Oh, so Titania and Pandora, and she'll hit even harder and never run out of VP. Ah, yeah, you see, that's also a thing. Many people might forget this, but changing people's master courses isn't a bad idea because that might open up to more potential on that. Of course, you'd have to unlock master courses, but you know. Early game is always fun because you're limited on your options. Yay. Why? I say that this is a good starting point for this part of the playthrough. Assuming I actually do upload this to YouTube, then those on YouTube can definitely hopefully enjoy. And if you ever want to see the ending of Cold Steel 2 be played, have fun on suggesting that to me. I probably won't. Add in Ween's Defined Song and everything I mentioned, and she will be casting 6 tons in a row. Oh yeah, Defined Song's quite a nice brave order. You don't get that for a long while, but yeah, it's good. And of course, as evidence here, there are people on Twitch that do happen to watch these streams and even occasionally chat. It does happen, believe it or not. So obviously, until next time, I'll see you all. Right.